Hi, I'm Sonica Kohly, a fun-loving travel enthusiast, daughter to a doting set of parents, sister to the most beautiful sibling in the world, wife of a handsome, thoughtful husband, and a mum to two active, tech-loving boys, whom I also happen to homeschool. You're joining me here because you either are a young parent or soon going to be one. Either way, I hope you'll enjoy and take back some key notes for yourself. Let's turn back time momentarily. Time before your little ones. Time when you were either single or in a relationship. What were your feelings when you imagined having your own kids? Take a moment, picture yourself back then. What emotions did the thought of having your own kids stir in your mind, in your heart? Loved. Bundle of joy in your arms. Maternal, paternal instincts. Proud, accomplished. Reason to live. And share your life with someone. Fast forward to after they are born and are a part of your every single day. How do you feel now as a parent? Fatigued? Tired? Sleep deprived? Lack of me time? Emotional roller coaster? Postpartum? Stressed? Overwhelmed? Depressed? Anxious? Confused? Frustrated? Busier than ever? Welcome to life after kids, dear young parents. You must be wondering what the purpose of me doing this flashback exercise with you was. It was to help you recall the reasons why you chose parenthood. It was to make you pause for a moment in this fast-paced routine and help you cherish that as we live in the present-day challenges, we should not forget the bigger picture. And it was to make you believe that you are not alone. You, in some secret chamber of your heart and mind, may be regretting parenthood. Questions like, what was I thinking then? What made me do this? How did I end up here? Especially when you see your school or college friends without kids, enjoying their prime youth, coupled with great career accomplishments, celebrating their freedom without being tied down, traveling freely, enjoying peaceful dinners, while you are struggling to have a hot meal once a day. Personally speaking, all my birthing parenting philosophies got tossed out the window as soon as I held my firstborn in my arms. With almost a 14-hour labor followed by a surgery, his physical and emotional needs took over mine in an instant. I lived and acted in the moment. Nothing that I had planned ever struck me or made sense then, or even if it did, it never worked. While I love my kids and family to bits, I felt very vulnerable with emotions at their peak. During the days of toddlerhood and pursuing work, it never got any easier. I'd often take leave from work to tend to a sick baby, head for pediatrician appointments, immunization, and the list was endless. And then another baby came along in a few years. I was thankfully in a position that I could quit work, but it all seemed very overbearing because the entire cycle repeated all over again. I realized I had to take control. I had to steer the way forward myself. This could not go on. I found support groups online on breastfeeding, new moms, managing postpartum, and just about everything I felt lost on. I must admit this, I emerged a lot stronger, mentally, emotionally. Not because there were some magic overnight tricks to help solve it all, but just in knowing that I wasn't the only one. If there was one thing that was common to all these support groups, was to not undermine the importance of self-care. The fatigue, the sleepless nights, the constant need to give to everyone did nothing to foster my relationship with my husband. My mind and my body continuously seemed preoccupied. But what I held on to just as strongly as I would hold on to my kids' well-being was my determination to think of myself too. I needed to be at the focal point of all relationships that I was managing. And that's where I drive home the point again: self-care. Self-care is extremely important, but it has to be without any guilt. It's not just for your own sanity and well-being, but invariably for your loved ones too. Let me help break this down for you so these bite-sized pieces can be remembered easily and applied whenever the situation calls for it. S. Show love. There are many different ways to show love in. If you haven't chanced upon the 5 love languages, I'd highly recommend you to search online, take that 5 minutes quiz, and understand more about yourself and your loved ones. There's also a book by the same name, authored by Gary Chapman. Do take out time to read it if you can, else the quiz should suffice for now too. I always thought I knew what love meant to me, but this quiz brought in a completely different perspective. It wasn't really the gifts anymore that appealed to me long ago, but the acts of service and words of affirmation from my loved ones that turned out to be my love language. And it was only over time I realized that the language changes for an individual, depending upon which phase of life he or she is in and what the circumstances around are. So hold it close to your heart. Make sure your kids and your family know and understand what love is to you, as you understand what their love language is. Do not be shy in making it vocal or expressing it from time to time. That's your fuel. You need it, just the way they need it too. If it helps, place some sticky notes on your kitchen wall or the bedroom door, just about anywhere that will help you and everyone see and recall. Set a reminder to get a hug from everyone if physical touch is your love language. Set aside a dedicated tea, coffee time with them if quality time is your love language. E. Express feelings. Whatever you may be feeling, good, bad, big, small, express it in a way that feels comfortable to you. But it has to be without any judgment. Whether it's a phone call to a friend or your parent who went out how rough your day has been, or if it's a note to yourself on your phone, which is what I typically do, you will notice that it immediately relieves you of the emotional burden you carry and will help you in feeling a lot lighter and less overwhelmed. Express gratitude for small things. Cherish what you got. This positivity is contagious. What you imbibe in your thoughts repeatedly gets imbibed automatically in your body as actions and behavior. So it makes complete sense for you to get rid of those negative thoughts, wend them out in a way that works for you, and make way for positive thoughts. Let me share a personal experience here. I'd often find myself comparing if I had not had kids and taken a break in my career. I would have been leading a team of professionals with a well-paying cushioned job, enjoying the charm that corporate world brings, and being successful. Weekends would be spent with friends, socializing, shopping. Traveling would be much easier and lighter, not having to pack 4 times the number of things I usually do now with young kids. And just the idea of being in total control of my life was so attractive that it seemed to be distancing me away from my kids. What did I do to my life? How could I be so wrong? My life, where kids dictate my every move, my every minute, and while I totally love having them around me, I seem to be neither enjoying them nor my life. There I was, feeling down in the dumps again. But what I failed to notice were the small successes. They love being in water and enjoy swimming leisurely for hours. So I overcame my hydrophobia and learned swimming myself too. Their coach was my coach as well. And I did it. It surely took me longer, but I can swim confidently now and even end up enjoying more time with them inside the pool. As they study Mandarin, I began taking lessons too. We would often correct each other's mistakes and secretly talk in the new language if we didn't want anyone else to understand what we were talking about. In the process, not only could I check on their learning pace, but I learned the basics of a new language too. Since they enjoyed nature walks, I happened to let go of my OCDs and got super comfortable with getting dirty on the sand and being able to enjoy nature the way it's supposed to be. I'm becoming a better cook too, as I take the kids' feedback seriously and continuously try and bring perfection to my recipes. So while I may not have been successful in my career, I surely attribute these small successes to the kids in my life. L. Let go. This one is hard, yes. How do you let go of kids screaming and fighting every few hours? How do you let go of kids being on screen most parts of the day? How do you let go of laundry and other chores not getting done? How do you let go when your to-do list never ends and you're constantly burning out? Remember one thing. Even if you're a superwoman or a superman, there'll be never a day when everything on your to-do list will always get done. What I've come to realize and learned over these years, sometimes the hard way, is to let go what doesn't get done. If it was a pressing need, it would have gotten done by now anyway. And if it's something that can wait, it will need to wait some more. My husband would often call me a procrastinator because I always had a long list of things to be done. And while I didn't like it initially and felt incompetent, I've come to appreciate it a lot more now. Why, you'd wonder? Because many tasks wouldn't need to be done at all while I waited. They'd simply just fall off the list. So how do you let go? Acceptance. Just think of how overwhelming something feels right now. A big burden you're struggling to carry? Just think of how the task will feel in a few months down the line. Manageable, under control to an extent, and how that will feel in a few years. Insignificant, not even worth a thought maybe. So let go, my dear young parents. You're already doing enough. F. Forgive. We are not perfect by any means, and neither should we even aspire to be perfect. As they say, there is no such thing as a perfect parent, so just be a real one. Kids need to see us making mistakes, accepting them, and learning from them. Else, you'd be painting a very unrealistic picture for them and setting them up for a disaster later on when they fall and have nothing to look up to. Our kids need to see the flaws we all have, that we are all continuously learning from our mistakes and trying to be a better version of ourselves, one day at a time. Forgive yourself, your spouse, your kids, and move on. A fellow homeschool mom once told me, and it struck me ever since, kids are the worst bosses, and I could not agree more. If there's one thing that fatigues me more than the level of physical and mental exhaustion, it's the feeling of ingratitude that my kids show. And I'm ashamed to admit, I was the same as a kid. Just the way I didn't see my mom doing so much through the day, trying to make both ends meet, ensuring we have fresh, nutritious, home-cooked food on table for each meal, to even giving in happily to all my cravings and dishing up special stuff each time, I was never grateful enough. And my kids don't see it either. So I must learn to forgive and move on. Ultimately, things do get better with time. C. Couple goals. Heard or read about this but not sure how to go about it? Ask me. I never knew how important this was. It seemed all too good when you'd read up about it, but the day-to-day challenges would push this somewhere to the back burner to come back to it later and attend. And that, believe me, never happened. My aunt once told me, although I still don't fully believe, she always wanted me to stay dressed up at home, especially more when it was time for my better half to return home after a day's work. I would think to myself on how insane of a thought that is. After all, my husband is an equal partner. He should see what a day I've been having managing the home, the kids, not even able to get a chance to comb my hair. Forget dressing up. And why should I look someone that I'm not? But I did it one day, out of curiosity. And I figured out what she intended by her words. It was not for my husband to see, appreciate, compliment, but it was for myself. I felt good with a renewed sense of energy. No matter how difficult the day was, when I dressed up and looked good, I felt good within. And that automatically made my conversations more meaningful, more driven, and made it better for everyone around me too. I never knew how something that sounded so trivial and insignificant could do wonders to my state of mind. I would recommend you try it once and see if it helps in your relationship building. Apart from this, set some time aside with your spouse. Watch a movie together, binge on Netflix, cook together, fold laundry together. Just pick up any time when your hands could be busy, but your thoughts are connected to each other's. Go for groceries, hang out together at the playground when kids are busy at play. And if nothing seems possible, just sit down for evening tea and unwind for the day, or a wine after dinner when kids are asleep. Make friends with kids' friends' parents and meet up. So while the kids are busy at play, you get your own adult time too. Trust me, this is hard and takes effort, but you'll thank me and whoever has ever told you the same. Kids will eventually grow, will no longer want or need you around them all the time, will have a life of their own, read busy life, and will eventually make you empty nesters someday. But the one you'll have with you is your spouse. If you do not find the time and make an attempt now to feel connected with him or her, your empty nest may be devoid of feelings, communication, empathy, moral support at a time when you need all of these the most. When we did get a few opportunities in the past, my husband and I left the kids with their grandparents, who by the grace of God most willingly agreed to keep them, and spent a few nights away on a holiday. After moving to Singapore and not having that kind of a support system around, we would arrange play dates, step out for coffee every couple of weeks, or put them to bed and sit by the poolside on pleasant evenings. And if nothing seemed possible, just watch a movie in bed and sip wine when they're asleep. It really doesn't have to be an elaborate or a well-planned affair. Just some moments together, you both can get a chance to be companions that you were before the kids came along. A. Ask for help. It could be from anyone, your spouse, kids, parents, neighbors, friends. And most often, you will get the help. It's just that we're too shy or hesitant to ask. And that help when you receive, I must say, is great comfort and solace and stands you in good stead. You cannot do it by yourself. Have you heard of the saying, it takes a village to raise a child? Anne Douglas, a parenting author and speaker, added to it by saying, if it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to support that child's parent. I must admit I'm guilty of losing temper, yelling sometimes, getting mad at the kids, even snubbing them occasionally, not expressing love enough when I'm having a rough day myself. But I do make sure I seek help, talk, ask whoever I deem fit or is available, and get the help I need. So I do not feel overwhelmed. R. Reward yourself. No matter how old, everyone loves a reward. Gift yourself. Be the gift of time to read a book over coffee, or to go out for a favorite meal with your girlfriends or guy friends. Go for a massage, pedicure, pamper yourself on a girl's date. Occasional breaks from the family without any guilt are important and help you come back rejuvenated with your cup full. I remember going on yearly trips with my ex-colleagues as a very young mom. Those outings and time away from family served as a tonic to me. I loved my solo time and would come back totally refreshed to take on the world. And that's when I began cherishing my family time even more. So each time you get this feeling that nothing is going your way and you need a break, step out. I don't get to take those yearly trips anymore, but I do spend some weekend evenings with a set of mums and we talk and charge up. Another visit I do look forward to are breakfast mornings every month with a group of parent-ed mums. That gives me the adult time I need and a clarity on how things must be. E. Exercise. I am guilty myself of not doing this enough. This could be any kind of workout. Long walks, breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, dance. just some time for your body, your heart, with focus on your health and well-being. I mostly use my shower time and combine it with some kind of exercise, either deep breathing or stretching, and sometimes even alongside cooking, when I could start skipping and stretching my body for a few minutes. It all adds up. Take any chance to recharge. Take kids out for cycling or skating while you do a brisk walk yourself. We all need that breath of fresh air to stimulate our senses, declutter our mind, and bring back the focus on who we are and who we really want to be. So remember, my dear young parents, you are not alone. Parents have been there, done that, and survived. Remember to follow self-care, yes, but without guilt. If you'd like to share your story with me or know more about what we do, how we do follow us on Instagram at KKids Homeschool. Thank you for joining me, and I wish you a very happy, blessed, and rewarding parenting journey. Hope to meet you sometime soon. Good day.